Support for exploring the American spirit is provided by Sassy Shears, Riverside Salon, Spa, and Boutique, where clients can spend an hour or an entire day. Hair, nails, skincare, and massage for adults and children. More online at sassyshears.com.
Hello, I'm Mary Parks. American spirit. Say those words and many images come to mind. You may think of heroic acts in times of tragedy, a person or an entire family that overcomes adversity. In reality, selfless acts by ordinary individuals that help others take place every day in every part of our country. They aren't likely to make the headlines, but their impact is just as real, and the effect on our communities is just as powerful. At Exploring the American Spirit, we're going to take a look at some of the phenomenal accomplishments done by people who saw a need and found a way to meet it. I'll be your guide on this incredible journey, so pull up your chair and relax as we explore the American spirit. This is the historic Flabob Airport in Southern California, the 7th oldest airport in the state. Inside the vintage hangar, a rich and fascinating history of innovation, design, and education. But these teenagers are not building aircraft, not even close.
Goes through here and then
I'll go find Allen wrenches.
over here, and we take it right here.
They are Team 7555, Robozilla, and they build robots. Team Robozilla is a nonprofit organization with a mission to inspire enthusiasm and passion for STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math. They are a community team made up of students from 6 different high schools.
Yeah, I do think we should keep something from the core values.
Quaid, Emily, and Kenton are finalizing their engineering notebook, one of the steps required to be part of a national program known as FIRST Tech Challenge. FIRST is an acronym for Inspiration and Recognition of Science and Technology.
We hand it in at the beginning of the day, and then they evaluate it, hand it back to us, and there's actually a specific award called the Think Award that is awarded to the best engineering notebook. We won it at our first qualifier, actually, so yay.
Teams are challenged to design, build, program, and operate robots to play a floor game in alliance with other teams. They are just weeks away from a big competition in Monrovia, California, near LA. The prize? A trophy and advancement to a national event in St. Louis.
So the cell phones are the main communication of the robots.
They are an innovative group with IQs through the roof and personalities as bright as sunshine.
It's more like, I know all these people for a very long time. They're really great people. I love robots. I love hanging out with them, and it's just really fun.
It's also about being part of a team. The active, hands-on experience of FIRST has inspired many kids to learn about technology in a way that no school textbook ever could.
Okay, I'm a former teacher, so I really love FLL because it dovetails those two very well.
Okay, but what's FLL?
It's First Lego League. So they actually use Legos to build a robot, and they're on a field, and they have to complete so many tasks in 2.5 minutes. But it always has a theme. Like one year it was, like last year was Trash Track, so it was all about recycling. So besides doing the robot, they have to do a research project on creating something related to recycling. And not only is the robot judged for how well they designed the robot, they actually do the research project.
Week after week, they've poured their heart and soul into making Robozilla.
It's a bunch of repairs we got to do, a couple of upgrades, and a few testing pieces that we've got sitting around that we'd like to test before we get on to our regional competition. For example, we've got a hanging mechanism we'd like to find out whether that works before our next competition. If not, we can always remove it. We can save on weights. We can get some extra speed on the playing field.
And how does it work? What's this robot made of?
This robot is mostly made of aluminum for the most part, with a bunch of custom-made parts such as our side sheets that we got
And who
painted.
designs it? You?
Yeah,
Team?
we designed it together. I personally designed the side sheet armor that we've got here that opens up for the side panels. I made the outline pieces for that and a couple of prototype parts.
Right, we need to work on to see whether that's going to hang. If it's not going to hang, then what is your goal? If we can still use them to pull to the highest level, I think that's a great goal.
Michelle Palmer is a parent and Team Robozilla's head coach.
What's really special about this particular organization is something that they call gracious professionalism. And it's quite unique to FIRST. And I think that's what these kids identify with over and above engineering, math skills, public speaking, everything that they're learning. It's the gracious professionalism that has become the glue of this team in particular. And what that means is we help each other. It's very ladylike and gentlemanly. You know, it's still competitive and they still want to win, but they don't want to win because someone's not doing their best. They help each other.
Case in point, not long ago, Team Robozilla was robbed.
Frustration for a group of teenagers after this high-tech creature 6 months in the building was stolen outside a local high school. Those students contacted 10 News about the theft.
The team's award-winning robot that mastered skills of picking up wiffle balls had been stolen from the coach's car, along with the purse and laptop as the team celebrated nearby.
To pull something like that and yank something like that away from these kids, it's just mind-boggling.
That year, the team placed 10th out of 38 in a huge competition. Team members made a public plea for the return of their robot in a San Diego area news story.
Keep everything. Just get back the robot. It's all we want. It's all we worked for. It's everything.
The robot was never found. Fast forward a year, those same determined team members fundraised until they were able to get their program going again. Resilience like that is typical of the American spirit. Don't give up, just find a way to move forward.
I think he's learned a lot of character building because sometimes things don't go right. I mean, we've had the robot die on the field. Okay, so my robot's dead, what do I do? Do I get upset and leave, or do I stay and compete in the other venues, you know, with the judging, and then still try to, you know, have a good time? And so it's taught him character. And I think also it's taught him that he can contribute even if his gifts are different than somebody else's. You know, like he was telling you, he really does the engineering notebook, whereas other kids are more on the build of the robot. Emily's doing the art. So I think they've really learned how to appreciate each other.
This is an example of Emily's animation work showcasing her team.
I feel confident in my abilities and am more prepared to adapt to my surroundings, whether it's engineering or whatever my pursued career may be. I know that my own work is important, but my connections to others are even more valuable. I learned that I'm not an expert in everything, and because of great mentors, now I can give back to the community all that I was given. Patience is a virtue, and I've tested that virtue more times than I can count. But the outcomes that I've earned were worth it. I know because of my experiences with my team, my future is bigger and brighter than I ever imagined.
Well, we all come from different schools. We're a community team. I can't tell you we all come from the same school, so we accommodate for that by having a lot more practices. And whoever can show up to them helps work on the robot, and that's how we get things done. Also, I'm working with my friends as well. I've known a lot of them since 5th grade, 6th grade. What I get out of this is helping myself learn skills like engineering and also getting back to the community as well. We have summer camps. We teach kids, kindergartners and kids from 5 to 10 on simple machines and how to work programming, basic programming and stuff like that. So I think that the whole point is helping myself out and also the community as well.
The positive impact on FIRST Tech Challenge participants is gratifying and well documented. Roughly 85% have more interest in school, are more likely to take challenging math or science courses, and attend college.
Driver controlled in 3, 2, 1, go!
Competition days are full of mascots and costumes, excitement and challenges. But not just with robots. Team Robozilla members are quietly dealing with a long list of ailments: diabetes, chronic pain, surgeries, and genetic disorders.
Yeah, our team's had a really interesting experience understanding what it's like to have illnesses. My son isn't the only one with a condition that limits how he feels from day to day. And the other children that don't have to deal with it have learned to be supportive and understanding. And sometimes we just have to stop everything because these children aren't feeling well and they have to take a break. And sometimes our practices end early. And sometimes at competition, we don't do as well as we could have because some of these kids are not feeling well. And
even so, Robozilla's spirit and teamwork have never wavered.
Lots of different ailments and health issues, and this organization has given my kids, I call them my kids, they're not all my kids, but these are my kids, has given them that foundation and that ability to, it's a level playing field. No matter what they're dealing with, they can put that robot out there, and it doesn't matter if they're struggling with diabetes or chronic pain or Marfan syndrome or any of these problems that these kids are dealing with. On that field, it is the same, you know? It's a level playing field for them, and it's really exciting.
Team members that compete against one another now may one day work together to build robots that perform complex medical procedures or systems to transport people into space.
I think they have learned a lot of very important, valuable skills, but I think the one thing that is going to be with them for the rest of their life is this idea of gracious professionalism.
That's the American spirit.
Support for exploring the American spirit is provided by Sassy Shears, Riverside Salon, Spa, and Boutique, where clients can spend an hour or an entire day. Hair, nails, skincare, and massage for adults and children. More online at sassyshears.com.
In the heart of Silicon Valley in Santa Clara County is the beautiful suburban area of Sunnyvale. This picturesque place is where you'll also find Moffett Federal Airfield, home to the 129th Rescue Wing of the California Air National Guard. The wing's mission? To carry out a wide variety of search and rescue operations anywhere in the world. Tech Sergeant Eileen Fair is part of that logistics team.
Trying to balance both because I'm very proud to be in the military. We only I think group maybe 1 or 2% in the nation is in the military serving, and yet at the same time I can still be a mother, you know, civilian and military, just balancing both as far as time and making sure that my children is fully provided for and 100% as a single parent, and at the same time dedicate my time to the military to make sure the mission is accomplished.
Perhaps the most difficult mission of all for Tech Sergeant Fair is sometimes having to choose between service to family and service to country.
We're kind of unique. I have a lot of kids. I have 5 kids, and I work full-time with the Air National Guard, affiliated with the Air Force, but I'm not in the area. I'm actually 8 hours away. And
How do you do that?
My unit has been very, very accommodating. They put me on 410s and allow me to drive on Thursday so I can come home Thursday evening. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I'm with my kids. And I'm very proud of them.
You heard right. Sergeant Fair has 5 children who live hundreds of miles away, scattered at high school and college campuses across California. Their dream? To have one place they can all call home.
Through just especially financially, it's been really hard on my mom because she is in the military and she is a single mom, and I have so many siblings. So just her being able to own a home for me is really emotional for me, and it means a lot that I can look up to my mom and she's an inspiration to me.
Sergeant Fair is among a list of well-deserving veterans who've applied for not a handout, but rather a hand up. Help from Habitat for Humanity and a unique program known as Habitat for Heroes.
This partnership with CalVet doesn't just mean we're able to put 40 veterans into single-family homes that they will own and they can realize that dream of home ownership. It also provides for something called the Veterans Enriched Neighborhood, a project that was really pioneered by the Habitat for Humanity in Santa Clarita, San Fernando Valley, in partnership with CalVet. It's a very unique program, so we're able to help veterans who wouldn't normally be able to qualify for a CalVet loan. They can now qualify for this program.
Kathy Mahalik is in charge here and says this project takes Habitat to a whole new level.
In our first 25 years, Habitat Riverside built 54 houses. In the next 2 years, we'll build 54 houses.
This is Lee Crisp. His job is to reach out to veterans and their families so Habitat can fill the homes being built. We asked Crisp, what exactly does veteran enriched mean?
It's a community beyond all veterans with a community center, and we'll have veteran enriched services within that center. We'll have PTSD counseling, we have arts, crafts, all kinds, and everything that a veteran needs. It'll basically be like a kind of like a on-base housing, but off-base, without all of the MPs and all that. So
there's a reason Crisp and other veterans were hired to get this project going.
Have that common ground, and it's just easier to speak with a veteran, because when you're in the military, you speak like a different language. So I speak their language, and no matter what branch of service they're in, they understand me, I understand them, and they all know who the gunny is, or all.
Right. Are we doing enough for our veterans? Should we be doing more projects like this, for example, across the nation?
If we could get more projects like this, it would be huge for veterans, and it'll do a lot for the American people in general to get that out there.
Gunnery Sergeant Crisp has spent a lifetime giving back to his country. A Marine since age 17, he's been through combat in both Iraq and Afghanistan and is now serving in a different way.
Well, it gives me an opportunity to give back to the community that I'm a Marine. I was a Marine. Well, you never was a Marine. You were always a Marine. I was a Marine for 20 years, and I served. I've always been in service since I was 17 years old, and that's what I just like to give back. It's a big difference between Vietnam era and now, and a lot of the veterans from the Vietnam era, they're still not understanding how to get their resources, and it's just a lot of misinformation and a lot of people just not getting the right information.
But this is a good start. This is a whole neighborhood of information and housing.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Many people might not realize 1.5 million veterans nationwide are at risk of homelessness. 76% of veterans in the U.S. experience dependency or mental health issues, while 37% of veterans in the U.S. need help finding housing. Much of that progress, though, would come to a halt if not for John Wardinger. He's the build coordinator here and admits many veterans don't believe this is all real. Wardinger was drafted in 1965. The Army made him a sergeant and sent him to Vietnam.
My drive is just doing something, actually working with Habitat, working with our executive director and the team that she has put together, and the veterans as a whole. And those are the key elements to it.
Imagine if something like this had existed when our Vietnam veterans came home.
I'm not even sure I can imagine.
So with multiple generations of veterans helping veterans, Habitat for Heroes pushes forward. And in one day, with a female building crew sporting pink hard hats, the walls go up. This is a rendering of what many of the homes will look like when they're finished, Energy Star certified and ADA accessible. This veteran-enriched neighborhood will have 26 new houses and a park-like common area. There is sweat equity required. Veterans and their families attend no-cost workshops on everything from finances to health care and even PTSD to help transition and avoid homelessness. It doesn't matter what generation served, whether in combat, peacetime, or which branch of the military. Every honorably discharged or active duty veteran who applies has the opportunity to be part of Habitat's enriched neighborhoods. Trevor Bailey is a veteran who took a job with Habitat so he could help fellow veterans in some way. Often he's at the construction site, but Bailey talked to us while out in a neighborhood working a program known as Brush with Kindness. That's where veterans who already own a house get help with home repairs or perhaps a new paint job. Bailey served 3 years in the Army as an MP. His father was also a veteran. Ralph Bailey served in World War II as a U.S. Navy Seabee.
And it's just a great opportunity to give back, not only to my community, but to those veterans that are still serving. I still have friends that are still on active duty, and just knowing that even though it's not them directly, I can help a veteran out in my community.
But that Brush with Kindness and all those homes under construction cost money.
I need some real cool temperature light bulb.
Habitat runs what they call a restore, new and gently used items for sale to the public. You'll find furniture, lamps, shoes and clothing, and believe it or not, the #1 selling item here, used toilets.
How important is this restore to Habitat's work and the work you're doing for veterans?
Everything in the restore is donated, so 100% of the profits go to support the mission. So they go to things like covering all of our operating costs. So when we get donations outside for a program or for a build, it goes to the program or the build. This operates takes care of all of our operating costs.
Often, large retailers donate truckloads of discontinued merchandise, knowing veterans or low-income families of veterans may be on the receiving end.
Okay, so Kathy, this is a secondary warehouse here at the Restore. What's all this back here? I see paint and electrical stuff and...
Well, one of the reasons that Habitat can build affordable housing the way we can and provide a lot of the services we can is our partners. For example, Valspar is a national partner for Habitats all across the country. They donate all of the paint that we use for our Brush with Kindness programs, for all of our houses, inside and out.
So those houses that are for veterans,
yes,
get paint here?
Paint is free. There is no charge for us to paint. And we don't charge, keep in mind that when we don't make any profit when we sell a house to the homeowner. That's part of Habitat's rules. So everything we could do to keep the costs down makes it better for the homeowner coming in, the new homeowner. So we get, we just got a pallet in today of electrical supplies, so all the panels.
Same thing.
The electrical panels.
Donated
Square
in
D,
kind,
yep, Square D
going to
donated them
those
all.
veteran homes.
Exactly. So that helps keep that house affordable for those.
So every brick, every piece of rebar, every coat of paint, chances are it's material that's been donated by a generous retailer looking to make a difference in the lives of others. Sylmar and Santa Clarita began building first these veteran-enriched neighborhoods with 12 and 81 homes. Palmdale will break ground for 50 homes, and Poway followed suit with plans to build 25 houses. Riverside is building 12, and Jurupa Valley 26. In each city, veteran-enriched neighborhoods will be in development over the next 2 years.
Today is the culmination of just an amazing journey.
Months later, that construction site we first visited on a small dirt road off the 60 freeway is now a beautiful cul-de-sac of affordable, Energy Star certified homes, a neighborhood completed by volunteers and a lot of sweat equity.
We would never be able to do what we do without that American spirit from our volunteers. We get hundreds of volunteers that come out and help us. On some of the wall raising days, and we had 100 people here. On some of the paint days, we had almost 200 people here. All we have to do is put an email out saying we need some help, we've got some work to do, and they all show up. That's the American spirit.
For now, An afternoon in the park is a real treat for Sergeant Fair and one of her children, because at sundown, she'll be headed back to base, 8 hours away.
It's a big difference being that we're challenged with financial hardships. Some are single parents, some are disabled veterans with fixed income, and I think this is the first time I've seen this program offered to veterans specifically, and it's a big help in trying to put a roof over our head and provide for our family.
And how hopeful are you that you're going to be on the receiving end of this awesome project?
I'm keeping my fingers crossed and I'm praying.
We hope you felt the time you invested in watching today's story was worthwhile. It's a privilege for us to bring you these examples of the American spirit. Some will touch and inspire you more than others, but they all in their own way contribute to the fiber and well-being of our communities. We are humbled by the people we meet and are always amazed at what they can accomplish, often by mere grit, determination, and perseverance. That's the American spirit. Join us next time for another stop on our journey exploring the American spirit. I'm Mary Parks.